We've talked about the circulation of blood to the kidney in terms of the renal artery. So when we talk about the blood coming to the kidney, there's actually a very high percentage, like 25% of the blood per minute that is pumped out from the heart actually goes to the kidneys. So this actually is about 1.2 liters per minute of blood. So this is about 25% of cardiac output. So this is the amount of blood that is pumped out of the heart per minute. So this would be of all blood. So there's a lot of blood going to your kidneys, and remember that there's a reason for that, in that the kidneys are going to filter the blood of metabolic waste, of drugs and of toxins, but also we're going to also regulate the solute concentrations of the blood. And we're also going to regulate blood pressure. And we also are going to send blood to the kidney just because the kidney needs a lot of oxygen and it needs a lot of nutrients. It needs a lot of energy in order to do its work. So we have a lot of blood going to the kidney. So we're going to talk about circulation, and I'm going to simplify it and not talk about all of the different vessels that are listed in your textbook. So when we talk about the circulation, I'm just going to draw it out where we have the renal artery. So this is carrying oxygen-rich and nutrient-rich blood to the kidneys. And it is going to branch, and arteries branch into smaller and smaller vessels until it gets to a very small vessel called the afferent arteriole. And this is a very small vessel that specifically leads to the filtration membrane of the kidney, which is called the glomerulus. So here we have the glomerulus, which is a specialized capillary bed. So this is my specialized capillary bed. This is the filtration membrane. We're going to talk about it in detail, but not in a little while, not in this particular lecture. So when we look at the glomerulus, it is interesting because on the other side of that capillary bed is not a venule, but it is another arteriole. So it's called the efferent arteriole. So A comes before E, so you can remember that the afferent and the efferent, that's in that particular order. So the efferent arteriole is going to pick up blood that stays in. So it's the red blood cells hopefully stay in the blood vessels, as well as some fluid. Not all of the fluid gets forced into the tubules of the kidney. So we have some blood leaving that capillary bed and going into the efferent arteriole. Now from the efferent arteriole, it's going to go into another set of capillaries where we're going to actually transport stuff back into the blood. So this is called the Peri tubular capillaries, plus a very special capillary segment, which is called the vasa recta. So this is my vasa recta. And then from there, the veins, go from small to converging and coming back together again to carry blood back to the heart. So then we're going to go into bigger and bigger and bigger venules, right? Until we get to the renal vein. So this is going to make more sense when we start talking about the structure of the nephrons and how nephrons function to filter the blood, but also return some of the stuff that gets filtered out back to the blood. So like water, for example, or like sugar, or like amino acids need to go back into the blood. So your textbook has a diagram. And so again, you don't need to memorize all of these for the midterm and the final exams. So we have the renal artery breaking into smaller and smaller until we get to the afferent arteriole. Then we go into the glomerulus. Then we leave via the efferent arteriole and go to the peritubular capillaries and the vasa recta. And then we go into larger and larger veins until we get to the renal vein. And then that blood is put back into the circulation via the inferior vena cava.